Okay, so I have the box put together and I'm ready to go ahead and close up the top of it. I have this scored and slipped, and if you look, I have a coil that's been scored and slipped right here. Okay, so you can see if I pulled that apart, this is going to be the coil that gets blended once I open everything up. Okay, so you want to make sure that that's there, because this makes it where you don't have to drop a coil into like a little place and then try and wiggle it into a little opening. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that I've got enough like texture on here, and I've got this scored and slipped, and I'm going to go ahead and press this on and line this up. Okay, and you're going to have some imperfections on this. That's just how it is. It's okay. I'm going to use my paintbrush and my sponge to kind of clean off some areas. And so if you look like over here, this is kind of messy, and you want to be careful when you blend, because sometimes when you blend, you'll blend all the way up and you'll like get rid of a huge section of the texture on there. You don't want to get rid of a big section. You're trying to blend enough that you hide the seam, but you don't get rid of the design that's already there. Okay, and you want to go across whatever seam you have, but be real careful. Okay, and I'm just using this a little bit, and then I'm going to come back with my paintbrush and my sponge and kind of look at this a little bit more. Okay, so that's better than it was. I can take my paintbrush and kind of smooth this out. If I want a bigger section, I can take my sponge, and really that side looks a lot better than it did. Okay, so same thing on this, kind of smoothing that out. Okay, but trying to maintain what is still there. Okay, so you would do that on all of the sides. I'm just going to do that to this side so you have an idea of what this would look like. But I'm trying to stay like outside of that 1/4 of an inch. Okay, like just right there. So I'm ready to go ahead and cut this off. I would look around and say, okay, what corner do I really not like? Okay, or what side do I really want to be at the top? Okay, and so I'm looking at mine. I kind of like hurt this corner. If you kind of look at it, it's kind of dented. So I'm going to cut this corner off, okay, because this is the corner that's going to sit on the table, or the side that's going to sit on the table. And so I'm going to go ahead, and I'm going to have to pretend, because I dented this, like where the corner of that is. But I'm going to go ahead and mark, okay, at 2. Okay, so I've made a mark down here, and then I'm going to mark at 2 on this side as well. Okay, so I have both of these marks at 2, and I'm going to connect those and draw a line. Okay, and then I'm going to go over to the next side, and I already have a mark over here, so I'm just going to like bring it up so I can see it on the top. And then I'm going to mark again at 2 and then connect. Okay, and then this one, I already have a mark on each side. Okay, so I just have to bring those up to the top. Let's see if this will focus a little better. And then connect those. Okay, so 2 inches, that's it. And so you can see the mark that is put around there. Now this is going to sit like this, okay, on the point, okay, but I'm going to cut that point off. And okay, this is crazy angle time. Let me see if I can show you from this way, possibly. Okay, now it's being funny. Oh, come on, camera. Okay, sorry. So now I've got this where I want it to sit on the point here. And so you can see my line is over here. So I'm going to have to cut, if I want this to sit on the table, I need to cut, so this is parallel, right, to the table. Do you see this, where it would be flush? Once I sit this upright, look at the angle that that's actually at. Okay, does that make sense? Like how I'm going to actually have to cut this at an angle. Okay, because I want it to be flat so it'll sit on the table. Okay, so I don't know how else to show you, but you can see this is at an angle, so I'm going to cut through this. So, I mean, this is like I'm holding a pencil to write. Okay, it's at a 45. So I'm going to have to cut this. Okay, so now if you look at this, there's got coils in there. This is like flat. Do you see that? If I would have cut straight in, then there would be like a ledge, this ledge would be gone. Okay, so this gives me a place for me to score and slip. So I can take this and score and slip this base. Okay, so then this will now sit on another piece of clay. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on this piece, and we can talk about good and bad things or different things that you can do. I'm just going to score and slip a big section. Ooh, that was a lot. Okay, so this is going to go right on here, and I could have this a different shape. Like if I wanted to cut this out, and I guess we would do this before, but you could have this be a different shape on the bottom, or you can cut it, and I'll show you both ways. Or you could cut it the same shape as it. So like this one, if you wanted it to be bigger and have this overhang, you could keep that, okay? And this could be cut into, I don't know, any shape that you would think that would match whatever design is going on the top, okay? Or you could cut this completely off and have it just be a triangle. Okay, so just like how that is, which I got a little extra. So it's kind of up to you on what you want to do, but this is how this sits on the table and looks like it's, I don't know, defying gravity, but it's really not. Okay, it's perfectly balanced. In fact, if this falls over when you're like working on it, like, and it dries out and we never get it fixed, I can't put it in the kiln, okay? Because if it falls over and it has glaze on it, it will glue itself to the shelf, or it will glue itself to another person's project, okay? So we have to make sure that it is balanced. If you knock on like part of this, it does not fall over, okay? And this definitely is. Okay, so I've done the bottom, I've cut it, I've put a slab down at the base. Now I'm ready to like cut the top off. And what happens is I have lots of people who they want to cut like somewhere here, okay? But that's how big, okay, 2 inches. Okay, the opening was this big, okay, like tiny. So if you cut 2 inches down, you're not going to be able to use this, okay? It will not be functional. And so really the best thing to do is to cut from corner to corner, okay? Corner to corner, corner to corner, corner to corner, okay? And for this, I need everybody's eyes up here. This is 3 sides, okay? Because we've altered this, so you should be cutting 3 of them. If you cut 4, I'll have people who cut like this side over here, the lid's just gonna fall open. Like it's just gonna fall off. Okay, so it's gotta be up here. I'm gonna go ahead and cut mine. I would say it's best to have some type of movement to the line so it latches on. Okay, if it's just straight, then it doesn't really, I don't know, it's a lot harder to have it latch, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make mine do like a curve like this, like just where it like points down. And I think I'm just gonna do that on this one, so I know for sure that's how it matches up, okay? And then I think on the other ones, I'm just gonna have them do like a curve. I don't want it to be perfectly straight, but I want it to have like a, you know what I mean? Like a kind of smile, like a arch to it. So I'm gonna try that and just see what it looks like. And just cut in. But I'm gonna have that like make a point. And we'll just see. This is kind of an experiment. I'm not perfectly on the lines, but I'm close. Close enough. Okay, so now, let's see if this part, I don't have it all the way. Okay, so now I have this, and gosh, there's like no good angle for this. So now this opens up, okay, and you can see like I have a point here, so that'll kind of help me figure out like where this goes. Okay, and that's gonna match in, but that's where we're headed. You would have, since we like sealed in those coils, do you see them right there? Okay, so those would need to be blended. This part's already blended, but that little section inside there would need blended, and you would need to reinforce like down in the very bottom. Right there. And then I would clean up these edges because anything that's got a nice like crisp edge to it is going to be really sharp, okay? And you would want to make sure that that's not going to cut you or anybody else, okay? But that's kind of where we're headed, is altering it, putting a base on, and then cutting the lid off.